We are live. Hello, hello. Let me just do a quick introduction in English and then I will do the same thing in Russian. Okay, hello and welcome to the first live stream of the upcoming live stream series. In this stream we are gonna talk about the basics of dasbox. I will tell you what dasbox is, what dascript is, and how to build a simple game on top of it. The stream will be mostly in English, but I know that most of our audience speaks Russian, and therefore I will switch to Russian and repeat the same information. Feel free to ask any question. I will be looking at the chat and try to answer them in both languages. The stream will be 1 hour long, at least we hope to. And yeah, let me do the introduction in Russian and then we will start. Привет, ребята. Для тех, кто не знает английский, у нас, значит, будет это дело работать так. Все важные вопросы и ответы на вопросы я буду дублировать на английском и на русском языках, но основной контент стрима будет на английском. Вот, потому что стрим у нас международный, и, соответственно, нам нужно, чтобы в записи основная часть была на английском. Вот, поэтому прошу сразу понять, принять. Вот. Но если у вас есть вопросы, задавайте, я буду отвечать на русском. Вот, значит, что у нас будет? У нас стрим будет идти примерно 1 час. Я расскажу, что такое dasbox, что такое dasskript. Я покажу, как сделать простенький проект. Вот, ну и какие-то базовые вещи расскажу, как, в общем, настраивать, где писать код и вот это вот все. Вот, запись стрима будет в ВК, запись стрима будет на YouTube и на Twitch. Alright, let's start, shall we? So, what is dasskript and what is dasbox? So, dasskript is a high-performance, open-source, statically typed scripting language developed by Gaijin Entertainment. It was developed specifically to be used in games mostly, but it's not limited to. Dasbox is a minimalistic runtime environment which runs dasskript programs. And throughout this jam, we will be using dasbox, and we will be building games on top of it. So let me switch to the main screen and I will show you where to get all this stuff. By the way, if you have any question, feel free to ask in the chat and I will do my best to answer. Okay, so where do you get dasskript and where do you get dasbox? So the main page for the dasskript is dasskript.org. It contains the overall overview of the language, of its features, of the performance tests, and the latest news. For us, it's mostly important because it has the documentation, and in the documentation here you can actually have a look at the syntax and you can have a look at the functionality of the standard library. So these two things will be like the most useful for you. Speaking of dasbox, dasbox is as already mentioned, it's a runtime environment, and it extends dasskript with its own functionality, and it's related mostly to graphics, audio, and input. So that's why it's like a separate thing, because it extends the language. Okay, so if you go to GitHub of dasbox, and by the way, you can find the link in the official site, and you can also find the link in the VK group and in our Discord server in the rules. If you go to that link, you will be at the main GitHub repository, and here what you can do here is you can clone entire repository and build dasbox from the source code. And I think for the most people, the better way to get the dasbox is to just download it like pre-built binary. And actually, like 2 days ago, there was an update, and this is very convenient for the stream, because right now this, you don't have to build the dasbox from the source in order to make all the convenient features work. So they work now with this build. Okay, let's download this and have a look. By the way, I'm gonna show you how to set up the like development environment for the Windows, and I'm gonna be using Visual Studio Code for the main text editor. And this the main reason for it is because dasbox has two plugins for VS Code, and it allows to debug the dascript program. It also allows to highlight the source code and like show tooltips and stuff like that. Okay, so we downloaded dasbox, and let's have a look what's inside. So inside we have let me zoom in. Okay, inside we have a dasbox.exe and a bunch of folders. So for the documentation, it's the same as it is in the GitHub. So if you go to the GitHub, to the doc section here, you can find the same documents. And in the sample section, we'll get to it, but these are the main samples that you can run and play with it. So let's launch the dasbox and see what's inside. So when you launch dasbox, it will show you this window with all the samples, and one more thing that we gonna need to create the project. But before we create the project, let me show you how to set up development environment. So if you have a VS Code, by the way, you can use any other code or text editor or IDE. It's really up to you. But if you're gonna use VS Code, you can have more features, which are debugging, code highlighting, and stuff like that. So you're gonna need to install two extensions. So the first one is called dascript, and another one, I think I have them already installed. Yeah, so you're gonna need to install these two extensions. First one is dascript, and another one is dascript language support. So once you install these two, you're ready to go. Okay, let's create a new project. So you can do so. Actually, you can do so without dasbox, and you can do outside. You can do so outside dasbox. But let's use it the way it's designed. Okay, so in the menu there is a new application, and when we hit enter, it asks for a name. Let's just, I don't know how we should name our game. The game. Okay, so when we entered the name, dasbox created whole project structure for us. So if you noticed, like that game. Yeah, that game. Yeah, let's that game. Okay. Okay, so inside the project folder, you can find your game folder, and inside your game folder there is a script which is named the same name you named your game, and also added main. Okay, so let's open this folder in the VS Code. Open folder. Okay. So right now we have, let's actually switch, move it here, and this will be moved here. So how do we launch our game? There are many options. I will show you the, I think, most preferred way. The most preferred way is just to hit enter, just select your game here and hit enter. And here's your game. How do you feel about it? Okay, it's nothing yet, but the cool thing about it that your game is already running and yeah, shock content. Yeah, exactly. Kind of empty. Yeah, but we will change that very soon. Okay, so in your game's code, there are three functions which are the most important one. So you have initialize, act, and draw, which basically mean that this will be called only once during the start of your game, and these two are called like every frame. So this one called first, and this one is called second. And the dasbox tries to run these two functions as fast as possible. So yeah, and the cool thing actually, we can work on our game without closing the dasbox. Let's say I want to draw something, right? I can just start typing like circle, I don't know, like some coordinates, some radius, and some color. Let's see. Yeah, see, I just hit Control S and there is our circle. I can actually change the resolution, set resolution. Initialize in fact calls each time you save a file. Yeah, because when you save a file, it restarts the game, and therefore it calls initialize. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so let's change resolution a bit. Okay, that's better. Okay, let's just make a very simple game, shall we? I'm gonna make a simple top-down shooter. It will be without enemies and it will be without any like winning conditions. I just want to show you how to implement basic logic, okay? I also won't cover the dascript syntax here. If you have any troubles with dascript syntax, just go to the website, to the dascript documentation website, and check the reference manual and the language section. So it contains everything you need to know about dascript. Okay, let's continue. Let's start with a player. And for the player, I'm gonna make a structure which will hold everything that I need. I'll call struct player. And what I need for the player is the position. It's a float 2, which means that it's basically a 2-component vector with x and y components. Okay, this is the meaning, and I want to have the same for direction. Let's say this circle will be my player, so I need to know the radius and I also need to know the color. Okay, let's store these two. So the colors in dasbox are represented by unsigned 30-bit unsigned integer, and it's basically a 4-byte color, and each byte corresponds to the individual channel. So the channels are stored in this order. But yeah, let's not get too deep. Okay, So how can I use the player now? It's just basically data storage. I need to implement some. Let's implement drawing first. So what we want is we want to implement player draw. And for it, I'm gonna use the same function here, but instead of like fixed coordinates, I'm gonna use what's stored inside player. And what else? And actually, if I make a mistake, the dasbox environment will let me know. Let's do some mistakes. Like let's say I forgot to put another like field here. If I hit Ctrl S, I will have a like error message here, which tells me where the error is. So it says that the game main.das on the 12th line, it has some error. And let's do this. Okay, so it still draws this circle, and let's try to let's create a player. So we can do this in various ways. Let's do the simplest way first, and then I'll show you more complex way. Almost cool debugger as in Turbo Pascal. Yeah. All we need to do actually is to have a blue screen, and then we will have the same experience. Exactly. Hello from Russia. Hello, привет. Hello from Russia. Okay, so we created a variable. That box allows you to define variables in two ways. With this statement, like this keyword allows you to create a modifiable variables, and this keyword allows you to make read-only variables, basically constants. So make sure you use the proper one. Okay, so let's put it in the middle of the screen. So how can we do so? We have a what you're gonna be using the most is the API reference for the dasbox, and you can get it as I already mentioned at the website here in the api.txt. It's not that documented as the like das script and its standard library. It's just the function definitions. If you want actually to learn more about this and like how it's made, or learn about how the arguments and what the types are, you can check the source code, and I can show you where. So you can go to the source, and then, for example, you want to understand how graphics system works. You can have a look at the graphics.cpp. It's the C++ code for the most bindings. For example, you want to see how the images are drawn. So let's have a look, and yeah, there is some C++ code, but I think if you are a developer and if you are used to engine development, I think this is the documentation for you. It's kind of advanced topic, this is definitely not for newbies, but if you have an experienced programmer, or if you're just curious, you can go and check the source code. It's pretty obvious what it does. And another thing to have a look at in the source code is the resources. Could you show the code closer, please? Yeah, of course. You mean this one? I can zoom more. Is it better? Okay. And I can also zoom in here too. So in the resources, there is a folder called scripts. I mean the one Okay, yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'll zoom in. Yeah. Okay, so in the scripts folder, there are some helper functions which are written not in C++, but actually in the script itself. For example, the creation, some utilities for the colors. You can also have a look how they implement it here. But most likely, you're gonna be looking at this api.txt. Like most of the time, you're gonna need this, not this. But when you are in doubt how it works, you can have a look at here too. Okay, let's continue. So what I want to do is to put this player into the middle of the screen. So let's check if the dasbox has this functionality. And spoiler, it has. Get screen. This is what we're gonna need. And here, actually, here we will encounter one important thing about DaScript and its strong type system. It doesn't allow you to implicitly cast between different types, even if these types are like the most basic one, like integers and floats. So the player position here is float, but the screen width is int. When we try to do this piece of code, it won't allow you to do so, because it says these types are not compatible. So you have to, all your typecast should be explicit. That's the key thing about DaScript. So if you do this, it allows you. Okay, let's do the same thing for the Y section. Okay. Y. This is definitely not the center. Okay, what's going on here? Oh, of course. I just okay. And now can I use full screen size form without top caption part? From what I know, no. It's always the window size. You can't have the full screen window, or at least I don't know how to do it. That might be like a good feature request for dasbox, because that was exactly the first thing that I thought about. Like, I need to know the system resolution, and I need to create a full size window, like borderless window. So from what I know, I know about the API, it only allows you to set the resolution. It doesn't allow you to set any window styles or remove the borders. So it's always be a windowed game. Okay, let's actually draw our function, like player draw. And nothing happened. Why? What did I? Oh, okay, yeah, I know why. Because the color is initialized to 0 and radius also is initialized to 0. Okay, so let's set the radius and color. Yeah. Okay, that works. So this way allows you to create a player in initialized code, but the better way actually is to have some sort of a function. You can make a function which creates a player, like default player for you, so you don't have to write this code every time you need a player. Not an obvious thing also, you could change initialize to def initial is hard reload and check if you do hard reload. If you don't do this, you could end with funny results. Like which one? Like my experience was that I never needed a hard reload. I think it's probably related to the ECS stuff, but for the like regular stuff, I'm not sure if it's needed at all. But yeah, feel free to explain more about it. I'm very curious about this. And before we go any further, there is like another thing, like the syntax sugar, which allows you to write code like this. So you could take the first argument or the last argument and put it like, provide it to the function like this. No? What? Oh, okay, sorry. And player. Yeah. So this does the same as the function call and like directly providing the arguments. And another way is to take the last argument and provide it like so. Like for a single argument function, these two are equivalent, but as you see when you will be looking at the examples, there will be a lot of statements written like that. And even in the API reference, most of the API is written like that. So don't get confused by that. So this basically means that you could rewrite this as follows. This is just a syntax sugar. Okay. And actually, why there are so many ways of calling a member function? What do you mean? I think we're not going. We don't cover object-oriented stuff in this stream. This stream will most likely use only structures and simple functions. For the object-oriented stuff, I think for the most of the games and for the most of the game logic, especially with the ECS approach, I don't think you need object-oriented approach. But yeah, if you make a more specific question, I think I can try to answer it. Okay, so now we know how to draw the player, but that looks kind of boring. Let's also draw where the player is looking at. So for the direction, we're gonna draw the line, which is basically looks like this. Let's call it P1, and it's player position, so it's player direction times player radius times 2. Okay, what did you do wrong? Oh, okay, yeah, I forgot the color. Okay. And nothing is drawn because we haven't initialized the player direction. Let's initialize it. Okay. And let's also write a helper function which will allow us to create the default player. And this function will return the player. And here goes the tricky part about the different assignment in that script. Okay, let's first create a player here. And just copy this code. So this is how we initialize the default player, and then we just return. And here we could have two different return types. Basically, we could return player as this, and we could use this syntax. So this syntax allows us to avoid additional copy. But for the simplicity, let's do it like this. And here, when we need to create a player, we will just use this create player create. And just get rid of all this. Okay, so that works. Or we could do it here, like so. Yeah. And if we so this assignment operator means that whatever comes out of this function will be copied to this variable. And we can avoid that by using this syntax, which is move assignment. If you're familiar with C++, it's basically the same as the move like it's a move semantics in the script. So it avoids copy of the temporary object, which is this one. But for the simplicity, let's use this syntax. And actually, you can see that most likely you're gonna see, especially for classes, you're gonna see this syntax, especially when some function will return a new instance of a class. So in order to like avoid a full copy, you most likely gonna be using the move operator. But again, I'm going too deep about this. We need to write our game, right? So we know how to create a player, we know how to draw a player. Let's try to move the player, right? Okay, so how we are gonna do this? Actually, for our convenience, we also have a hint here how we can handle player input. All right, so let's try like WASD movement, get key, and for this key we need to move the player. One way of doing this is to just directly modify the player data, which might be good for just to get the basic understanding how to do things, but later on it's better to move this into a separate function, which we will do. Okay, let's try. And let's also make it frame independent. And by the way, the coordinate system in dasbox is this. The 0, the start of the coordinates is here, and the y-axis looks down. And the x-axis looks right. So this is the coordinate system. Okay, so now the game should react on W and S keys. But actually it reacts, but kinda slow. Let's make a variable, call it speed, and make it a little bit faster. Okay, that's better. Let's also make it more fast. And this the cool part about DasScript and DasBox. You don't need to close the game, and you can iterate on your code like straight away, and it's very convenient. Okay, let's also add another keys, and then we'll have the basic movement. So for the A key, we should move left. For the D key, we should move right. Okay. And like this way of doing stuff contains like the most famous bug when if you move faster if you move diagonally, because like 1 + 1, and that gives you like square root of 2 in the magnitude of this vector. So you are moving faster. And another way of doing this is to actually split the player movement logic and the input handling. Let's do simple. Let's say we have a player here and we want to move it. So we're gonna accept another parameter here, which is move vector, and we also accept delta time. Does this box clear in black? It's for every frame. Yeah, of course, because if it doesn't, it will leave all this messy stuff. Yeah, it's basic. It clears the frame buffer every frame. And actually, I haven't found an API which allows you to clear it to a specific color. So if you want to like fill the entire canvas, you need to use one of these API calls. So let's say you want to clear it to another color, and the way of doing so from my perspective is this: fill rectangle 0 0, get screen width, get screen height, and then your color. Let's say I want to make it red, but not really red, but like dark red. No? What did that? Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. I just got sidetracked. Yeah, okay. Ideally, there should be a separate structure for color, not for unit and color constant like white, red, etc. And it's up to you actually. You can make your own module with color. Like the first thing that I did actually is I make the hue saturation value color, and I make a utility function for it because it's the most convenient way to work with color, especially if you want to do some like procedurally generated stuff. That's the approach. But yeah, you're right. I agree with you. It will be much more convenient to have like a constants, at least for the basic colors. And another thing is to check the system resolution and to make borderless windows. This functionality is the basic stuff, yeah. But it's okay, I guess. So this is how you clear the the canvas, the full canvas. And again, you can just make your own utility and just call it like so. And just call it here. Okay, so let's do this. Player move. Player move should be very simple. Actually, we also need to add a speed here. And we should also initialize it here. Let's say, what did we use? 40. Okay, 40. So player position should be moved towards this vector times player speed times the delta time. This is it. And here, instead of modifying the player positions, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have another vector here, and we will just assign it's one, like 1 is 1. A should be moved left and B should move right. Okay. And here we gonna player move delta type. Okay, so now it will behave the same, but we actually split the input handling code from the movement logic, and that's the best way to split it. And here we can actually fix this square root of 2 bug by just normalizing the vector. So right now it's fixed and we can't move faster by moving on diagonals. Okay. What else do we need? We actually need to, for the top-down shooter, we need our player to respond to the mouse position, right? So we need it to look at where the mouse points. And let's also write another function, and we will call it player look. It's also very simple. It will just set the direction for the player, like normalize player position, actually target minus player position. And here player look, and dasbox has the API for pulling the mouse coordinates, like get mouse position, and for our convenience actually it returned float 2, which is very nice. Okay, see, now it reacts on where our mouse cursor is, which is nice. Okay, I think the last functionality that I'm gonna add is the bullets. So for bullet, I'm gonna add another structure called bullet. It will also has the position, the direction, speed. Let's actually rearrange this. And also, let's call it size and color. It's very close to what the player has, but anyway, we will make it into another structure. And for the bullet, we will also have a default creation utility, butter. Okay. But it will take the some arguments like position and direction. So for speed, let's hard code it here like 100. For the color, let's also hard code it. And for the size, I don't know, 5. And yeah, of course. Okay. So now we can create bullets, but we also need to draw them, and we also need to store them somewhere. And this is where we're gonna use dynamic arrays. So let's first try to draw bullet. So I think we're going to visualize bullets as a single line. P0, P1. I actually would like to use the keyword length here, but I think it's already taken. At least that's what the syntax highlighting show me. Yeah. But maybe not. Let's check. We'll see. You want Y and palette color. Oh, actually no. It works. Okay, so I think this is a bug in syntax highlighter. Okay, another thing that we need to do is to do a bullet move. Again, it's very simple code. And we also need to provide a delta time, and palette.position is we move it towards its direction times delta time times speed. Okay. Let's say we want to create a bullet when the player press the left mouse button. If get mouse button down, actually let's try to just use this function. I'll show you what it will look like. And here we need to create a bullet, and we need to store it somewhere. So for it, for the bullet storage, we're gonna use the dynamic array. So we'll make another variable and call it array of bullets. And here, oh, okay, yeah. So here we need to create, and here we need to pass the parameters where we want to spawn it. Let's spawn it at where the player is and where the player is looking at. Okay, so it still doesn't do anything like useful because we haven't stored the bullet. Okay. So bullets, push bullet. Okay. And this will allow us to make a for loop to draw all the bullets. For bullet in bullets. Draw bullet draw. Okay, so as you can see, when we press and hold the mouse button, it will constantly create the bullets, which is not what we want. So for that, we have another API, which is get mouse button down, which will only return the true once you hit the button, but when you hold it, it will return false. So that way, when you click, it will create a bullet. Okay. And the last thing that we need to do is to move the bullets. Bullets move. And we need to pass delta time. Okay. So we have some sort of interactive stuff that is going on. But I kind of don't like that it's going from the center of the player. I want to spawn it a little bit further, like player direction times player radius times 2. Okay, yeah, that's better. And these bullets are kind of slow and kind of tiny, so I need to fine tune that. Let's make it faster and a little longer. Okay, yeah, that's better. Okay, one more thing that I want to show you before we go to the Q&A section is to how to load images, how to load assets, where to put the assets, and how to load them using dasbox API. Okay, so if we go to the our project folder, projects, the game, so it's kind of empty right now. It's only a single source file, and that's it. And I mean, we still can make a game, and it may look decent, but it won't have any sounds, and that's kind of silly. And even with these graphics, if when we add a single sound file, it will benefit. So for the sound effects, I'm gonna use BFXR. It's like the most common. Do all of these graphics function use software render? No, it's not a software render. That's the functionality behind the dasbox. But actually, let's check. Maybe I'm wrong. So yeah, it uses SFML. Yeah, that's right. And inside these graphics, let's say I want to understand how the draw line works, right? I'm gonna draw just line. Yeah. So if you see, it actually creates a vertex array for the line. And then it tries to do some sort of a API call. And we can go further and see what's inside render target and how it handles its primitives. And then I think we end up with the graphics API call at the end. So we can get more than 40 FPS. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so for the BFXR, let me just go to my folder. I already prepared the content, but I kind of wanna show how to use how you can generate any sounds. It's like the most common audio synthesizer, and it's kinda, yeah. I already prepared some stuff, and you can play with the parameters. I'm not gonna go into details about this, but the thing that you can generate a WAV file out of it, and that's what we need. Let's try to make another shoot sound. No, no, I don't like this. Let's try another one. No. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this one is good. Okay. I like it. Okay, let's export. Go to the where it is. Download folder. Yeah, here. And go to our tag game. Let's just call it shoot.wow. Okay. Okay, so in this folder, you are free to organize assets any way you want. I prefer to make a folder and name it like assets and put all the assets here, like in the corresponding folders, like SFX, and probably I will have like more than one variation. So yeah, it's better to keep it organized. And for the image stuff, I'm gonna be using the Gaijin Jam logo. I'll just put it here into an image. Okay, let's call it the Gaijin Jam 2 logo. Okay, so dasbox API allows you to load your assets in two different ways. The first way is to like load the resource as it is and store it as a variable, and you control where the resource should be deleted. And if you're not careful, then you probably gonna be ending up copying the entire resource, and that might lead to problems or just memory waste. Yeah, the Jam logo looks like Half-Life 2, and we should skip Gaijin Jam 3 and just make like the Gaijin Jam 4. Okay, so in order to avoid like these possible mistakes, dasbox API could manage, but doesn't have to. It could manage resources for you. It allows you to do it by providing what's called a managed API and the special handle classes. Let me show you. So let's add the sound first, and then we will draw an image too. Okay, so for the sound, what we have a PCM sound. It's just a raw resource, and then we have a sound handle, which is basically the same resource that is managed by dasbox. And the cool thing about it is that you can convert the resource from managed to unmanaged and vice versa. It also has the API like this. Actually, no, you can only move this. I don't think you can convert handle into a fully fledged resource. Yeah, so there's only as okay, yeah, it's a unidirectional way. Okay, let's try to work with the raw resource. Let's call it sfx shoot, and it will be a PCM sound. And for here, if you try to do it the way you prefer to do, like with this assignment, you won't be able to do so. Let me show you. So if you try to do it like so, create sound and then assets, sfx, how did I name it? Shoot.wav. Shoot.wav. Okay. See, sorry. Yeah, it's a typo. Okay. So here, it doesn't allow you to create the sound like this, because the PCM sound is a class, and classes are not allowed to be copied using the shallow copy. The other should be created by a move assignment or by a deep copy assignment. So the deep copy assignment is this. It will allow you to create the PCM sound, but it will actually copy the entire resource that this thing created. So it's not an optimal way to create resources. So therefore you should be using move assignment almost always for these kind of calls. Okay, so how do we play this sound? There is a specific API. It's very simple. So when we hit the left mouse button, we can just do this call. See? Yeah, I like this sound. Okay. And as I already mentioned, if you want to, for a single resource, it really doesn't matter which way you go with it. like either with the raw resource itself or with the managed resource. But if you will have a more complex game with a lot of different resources, it's better to let dasbox handle it for you, or at least try start with the managed resources. And if you will have any troubles, then you can manage resources yourself. So let's change this PCM sound into a sound handle, and this should be renamed to create manage sound. Okay, and the other the API is the same, like the play sound, the parameters, all this thing is the same. Another thing is, when you copy a handle, you won't copy the entire resource. So let's say this, and this is the key thing. So let's say you have like 2 different sounds handles, and let's initialize it as this. Just copy. And if I change something in this resource, let's actually try. I never tried it, but my guess is that if I change like the I don't know, like the frequency, so it's 44 on 100. Let's, I don't know, like let's make it like so. No? Can I, if I, no, didn't do anything. What else? Duration in seconds. Let's try. And here, no. Okay, I think I'm doing something wrong. But the idea is that the sound handles, they point at the resource. So if you modify, like, and the idea behind the handles is to be it's a like lightweight handle that you can copy across your code. That's the idea behind it. Okay. I actually need to figure this out, because this feels like it's not working the way it's meant to be. Okay, let's do the same with the image. And with the image you have the same thing. You have an image class, and you have an image handle class. And we're going to be using image handle. Create managed image, assets, images, Gaijin Jam 2, avatar, PNG. Okay, and for the player, it will take the image handle, and here it will take the avatar. Unable to open file. I think I put it. Okay, it's image, not images. Not avatar, logo. Okay. And for the drawing API, let's see what we have. Image, draw image. I think we're gonna be using this. Draw image, coordinates, color and size. That sounds like what we need. Draw image. And also the X and Y coordinates are the top left corner of the image. So if we put it to, let's say, where the player position is, it won't work as you expected it to be. I mean, it won't look as you expected. And play radius times 2. Okay, see? And also it seems that the image doesn't have any transparency. Let's offset this first. Okay. And if we want to enable transparency, especially the alpha blending, there is an API call for it. It's called enable alpha blend and disable alpha blend. No. What did I do wrong? Oh, okay. It's because this image doesn't have any transparency. I took the wrong image, I guess. Yeah, I have this image with transparency. And by the way, if you change the assets but you haven't changed any code, you can hit F5 here and it will reload. Okay, I think I showed you everything I wanted to show. One more thing. Let's say I finished my game and I want to pack it for the Game Jam. What should I put into the archive and what should I submit to the each IO? So that's the question. So obviously, what you're gonna need to provide is your project folder, right? But if you will just provide only this, then the participant should need to install the dasbox and copy your project into his own or her own dasbox and launch from it. And this is a not very convenient way. So from my point of view, the better approach is, I mean, you can do so, and it will still be a valid submission, but it's not recommended. The recommended way is to copy your it's not the right folder. Is copy your game with the dasbox. So let's say I want to make a build of my game. So what should I put in it? I definitely need to put a dasbox, and I also need to put the folder of my game. Could be like so. And I can also remove the VS Code stuff from here. So it will be just a source code and the assets. But if I will just launch the dasbox.exe, it just won't do anything. Actually, it tries to find the source code. Let's put it here, like so. See, it can't find any related source code. But what we can do here is we can do a simple launcher, like something like this. And it will just call it dasbox.exe and that game and pass to your source, like so. And if I call it like so, see? This is my game, and like this is the all the unnecessary stuff stripped away from the build of the game. And this is the preferred way for you to submit your games. So that way the any participant could just run your game without any friction, and you will simplify the judges work a lot, and you will simplify the participant work a lot, and you will more likely get noticed and get more reviews and scores. Okay, one more thing. actually is to how to debug this thing, because like I wrote it from the memory, and most of the time I was just looking at the error screen, and for the like 90% of the cases it should be just fine. But for the rest 10 cases, we need to debug thing, and here we can use the two VS Code extensions for it. And if you have a look at what the VS Code folder has, it has a settings.json, which contains the DAScript specific parameters, which we don't touch. But if we try to launch from the VS Code by pressing F5, it will launch the dasbox, and it will also suggest that we open launch.json, and it will automatically create these two types of launch. The first is the regular launch, but what it actually allows us to do, it allows us to run a debugger. So to run a debugger, if you created your DAScript project, dasbox project, from the dasbox, it already put these two things on top of your main source code, and these two things allows you to debug your code. So if you uncomment this and just launch it again, so here it just said that it couldn't connect. But if we open launch.json and read its suggestion, you might not have this error, and it might launch successfully. But if it doesn't, what you can do here is to add this connection timeout suggestion and just try to launch it again. No. This should work actually. Let's make it bigger, like 10 seconds. No. Okay, so it launched. For some time, it starts like in a very long time, but sometimes it doesn't. And the cool thing here is that right now we are in debug mode, so we can debug our game anytime we want. Let's say I want to debug whether or not my shooting code is correct or not. I can put a breakpoint here, and when I shoot, I can see the typical debugger, and I can have a look at what the local variables are, what the resources are, what our global variables are, and I can step through the code. I can go, I'm not sure if I can go inside. Yeah, I can go inside. I can go inside loops and basically use the debugger as usual, and then I can continue execution. And there are two ways to launch a debugger. The first way I already showed you. You just hit F5 and you need to select this DAScript launch, and it will launch a DASbox in debug mode. But you can actually attach to existing DASbox, and this is a cool feature because when you launch DAScript and when you launch DASbox in debug mode here, if you just like disconnect the debugger, it will also close this window. which is not a convenient way to work with it. But if you, where it is, okay, if you just launch dasbox as usual and launch your game, there's another option you can use. So another option is this dascript attach. It allows you to attach to existing dasbox. By pressing F5, it won't open any window, it won't start any new dasbox window, but it already attached to this window, to this dasbox. And if I put like a breakpoint here, no? I thought it should work, no? Let me reattach. No. Huh. Okay. Let's try again. And attach. And then select the game. No. And then okay. This feels like a bug, but the intended way to work with this is actually like make breakpoints as usual and then attach and detach, and you don't have to close the window. That's the intended way of using this mode. But if it won't work for you, you can just use regular launch. Oh, yeah, I know what the problem is. I also didn't put a connection timeout here. Let's put it like 4. And right now, if I press F5 here and I attach, no, still won't work. Okay, that's unfortunate. Let's put like 10. I don't know. Okay. For some reason, it doesn't allow me to set the source code. Okay. Anyway, this is the idea how you can use debugger in 2 different modes. So try and let me know if you have any success with the attach mode, because like just before the stream I used the I created the same project and I managed to use it. But anyways, okay, I think that was the last part. So feel free to ask any questions, and yeah, and then we will end the stream. So is the script plugins for VS Code allows you, does the plugins for VS Code allows you to look at the short API reference? Yeah, it does. But for some dasbox builds, it might not work. So in my case, let's see if I want to draw a circle. For some reason, it just doesn't tell me the and doesn't suggest any arguments. But if you build the dasbox from the source code, for some reason it worked for me, and that's the thing. And actually, this was the issue with the previous build. So for our convenience, if you if you just like before yesterday's release, it was like December's release, and if you try to download this one, then even the debugger won't work. And in this build, I also don't know why it doesn't work, but when I build it from the source code, actually it works. And this is the weird thing about it. So I think it's better, like if you want to have a fully working dasbox, I think it's better to build it from the source code. But before doing that, try to download the build and then try to download the pre-built binaries and use them. And if they won't work, then just build it yourself from the source code and see if it works. And then I think I also need to repeat that in Russian. Плагины и JavaScript для VS Code раз не позволяют смотреть краткие референсы к API в редакторе в виде списка доступных функций. Должны позволять, должны. Вот, но почему-то при каких-то сборках не позволяет. И вот мне помогало собрать dasbox вручную. Тогда проблем не было. Вот, тогда работал дебаггер как надо, тогда там все language server фичи работали, и даже всякие приколюхи в духе подсветки цветов через эти color checker. Okay, any other questions? I think I will also let you know what to do next. Like when you repeat this thing, what to do next. I think the one of the best way you can learn dasbox API and JavaScript language is to just go and see other games like Space Rocks and Lasers. It's just simple asteroids games. For example, this game doesn't have any sounds, and so try to make a project, copy the source code and try to play with it. Try to like add another mode, game mode, try to add sounds, try to make more sophisticated effects. For example, in this game you can add trail to the ship's engines. You can make sounds, you can add colors, and also go and have a look at the more complex examples, such as this one. This one allows you to, this kinda imitates the three-dimensional stuff, but it's actually not a three-dimensional stuff. That's the thing. But it's a nice illusion, and it also shows how to create the meshes, custom meshes, and you may use this as well. Next thing to do is to go and see what's inside the standard library of JavaScript. For example, I already noticed that some of you try to implement pretty stuff, and some of you try to implement basic math structures such as matrices, but you don't have to do this because the standard library has it. If you go to the math library, it already contains the matrix operations, it already contains quaternion operations, so you don't have to do it yourself actually. It's already there. And another thing is to, for example, you want to learn how random stuff works, then go and see how random stuff works. Then there is a file input output library and a lot of useful stuff actually. So go check this out. Yeah, I think that might be a good next steps, and then try to create your own game, or try to build, if you're building a 3D applications, try to use existing API to render like cube or something. Or if you're going to like ray tracing or path tracing way, then just try to use the what's here, jobs and threads library to speed it up. Yeah, I think that might be good next steps. Okay, any other question? I think we'll spend like 5 to 10 minutes on this if you have any questions, and then we will end this stream. Okay, I think we don't have any questions. All right, so before I end the stream, I have a few information to say. Is there will be another three more streams about DAScript, but they will not be in a like live coding session way. They will be organized in a different way. It will be just a Q&A about the complex topics, so feel free to ask any questions. We will make a Google form where you can ask any related question, and we will try to answer to that questions during the live streams, like the next live streams. And there will be another stream this week actually, where we will answer your questions regarding the game jam itself, like what the rules are, like how to upload the game, and like basically organizational stuff. And the jam starts next week actually, so be prepared, I think. Yeah, I think that's it. We will see. I will see you in the next stream this Friday and the next week when we open the jam. So I hope that this online lecture was useful for you. If you hesitate to ask your question at this stream, you can find me at Discord and you can ask any question in Discord server. Yeah, when the people start actually using the dasbox, they will have questions. Yeah. But then you will go and see this live stream, and I think I will cover the like the most basic stuff you need to get started. Okay then. I will see you this Friday, and thanks for being here, and yeah, we'll meet this Friday. Bye bye.